Some stories begin quietly, but not this one. Because when billionaire hotel tycoon Richard Sterling walked into his marble-floored living room one sunny Saturday, holding his little daughter's hand, he dropped a bombshell that stunned the 5 glamorous women sitting before him. "Ladies," Richard began, his deep voice echoing through the grand hall, "today, my daughter will choose which one of you becomes her new mother." Gasps filled the air. The women draped in diamonds, designer dresses shimmering in the morning light, straightened in their seats, each certain she would win. They were models, heiresses, and socialites who'd been invited here for what they thought was a private brunch. None expected this. In the corner, near the dining table, stood someone who wasn't supposed to be part of this scene. Angela, the black housekeeper. She was dressed in her crisp navy uniform, holding a tray of tea. She kept her eyes down, determined to stay invisible. This was billionaire business, not her world. But she had no idea that by the end of the day, she would be at the very center of it. Richard's daughter, Lily, was only 8 years old, bright-eyed, with long golden hair tied in a ribbon. She looked around the room shyly as the women leaned forward, ready to charm her. One by one, they spoke. A tall blonde named Vanessa promised trips to Paris and closets full of dresses. Sophia, with her movie star smile, said she'd throw Lily the biggest birthday parties money could buy. Monica, dripping in pearls, assured her she'd never have to eat vegetables again if she didn't want to. The room was filled with dazzling offers, but Lily's small face stayed blank. She swung her legs under the chair, glancing around nervously, until her gaze fell on Angela. Angela noticed and smiled warmly before looking away. She'd known Lily since the little girl was just 2 years old, braiding her hair in the mornings, packing her favorite peanut butter sandwiches, and telling her bedtime stories when her father worked late. She never asked for anything in return. When Richard finally asked, "Well, sweetheart, who will it be?" Lily stood up. She didn't walk toward the jeweled women in front of her. Instead, she turned and ran straight to the corner and hugged Angela's waist. The room went silent. Richard's jaw dropped. The women stared, their perfect smiles frozen. "Sweetheart," Richard said slowly, "Angela isn't on the list." "She's my list," Lily said firmly, looking up with her big brown eyes. "She's the one who loves me. She's the one I want to be my mom." Angela felt her heart race. "Oh, Lily, I can't," she began, but Richard held up his hand. The women started whispering sharply among themselves. One scoffed, "A housekeeper. Is this a joke?" Another muttered, "This is ridiculous." Richard turned back to Angela. She had been with the family for 6 years, never once crossing the professional line. But he couldn't deny the truth in Lily's words. He'd seen Angela sit by Lily's bedside when she was sick, cheering her up with silly songs. He'd seen her kneel on the floor helping with homework late into the night. He had even caught himself watching the way she gently guided Lily through life's small lessons, things he didn't always have time for. In that moment, Richard realized that love wasn't in the diamonds, the vacations, or the parties. It was in the everyday care that Angela had quietly given without expectation. Richard dismissed the other women politely, despite their protests. When the last luxury car had pulled away, he turned to Angela. "Angela, I don't know what to say. You've been more to Lily than I ever realized. But what she's asking is huge. Are you even willing?" Angela looked at Lily, who still clung to her side, eyes hopeful. "I love Lily as if she were my own," Angela said softly. "But this isn't about me. It's about her happiness." Lily reached up and took both their hands. "Daddy, I just want someone who will tuck me in at night and tell me stories, someone who listens to me." Richard felt something inside him shift. He had spent years surrounding himself with people who looked good on paper but didn't truly care. And here was Angela, humble, kind, and fiercely protective of his daughter, asking for nothing, yet giving everything. He took a deep breath. "Then it's decided. Angela, if you'll have us, we'd be honored to have you as part of our family." Tears welled up in Angela's eyes. She had never imagined a billionaire would say those words to her. But more than that, she had never imagined she'd be given the chance to love openly the little girl who already owned her heart. The weeks that followed weren't filled with diamond rings or lavish parties. Instead, they were filled with small, precious moments. Angela moved into the upstairs bedroom next to Lily's. No longer the housekeeper, but the heart of their home. She still cooked breakfast herself, still braided Lily's hair for school, and still reminded Richard to eat when he got too caught up in meetings. But now, she sat at the dinner table with them instead of serving from the kitchen. She joined in their laughter, their late-night movie marathons, and their weekend pancake mornings. The neighborhood gossiped, of course. Some couldn't believe a billionaire had chosen his housekeeper over women with millions in their own right. But Richard didn't care. He'd learned something far more valuable than society's approval. Real love has no price tag. On a warm spring afternoon, Richard, Angela, and Lily stood in their garden. Lily squeezed their hands and said, "See, we're the perfect team." Angela smiled, glancing at Richard, and for the first time, he saw not just the woman who had worked for him, but the woman who had saved his family. Love had been there all along, quiet, steady, and priceless. What are your thoughts on this story? Comment and subscribe, Lifelines.